When I first started looking at Olight, the naming, like the i5R, the i3E, it kind of confused me, to be honest. And it turns out it's much simpler than you'd think. So in this video, we're going to talk about all the different models, what the names mean, and which one's right for you. Welcome back to Olightstore. All right, I've got the array of, I'm going to call them alkaline-based Olights. That's not exactly true because you'll see that the i5Rs are actually rechargeable lights as well, but they do run on alkalines as well. So let's jump in and start talking about the differences in the models, kind of break down what the numbering means, the i5T versus the i3E, and so forth. And then we'll talk about what I think are my favorite lights, and I'll just show you a couple things that you might care about when you're choosing one of these. I also want to jump in right now and tell you that this is the eve of a sale for Olight. Olight is going to have a sale on from August 8th to the 10th. If you've never bought an Olight, this is the time to strike. All their models are on sale, and often limited edition lights run out of stock really fast, so you want to jump in during the sale. And by the way, this exact light here, the i3E, you can get this for free with just having an Olight account. So if you go create an account on their store, they'll give this one to you for free. Now, if you don't hit a certain amount of money, they will ask for shipping on it. But if you're going to buy something else, you get this for free, and it's an awesome little light. So let's talk about the naming. All right. So we got the i3 over here. And what i3 means is it means that it is a AAA sized light. So this light is going to be the smallest tube diameter and the smallest capacity in lumens. But you can see that it's a keychain light. It's very small. Look at that guy. And also, I want to point out that their boxes never seem to do the light's actual justice. If you look at the box here, and I had not opened this at first, I went, oh, okay, it's a blue light with some vertical white lines. No. It is a very shiny, iridescent coating with little stars all over it, and these cutouts are silver. So it's aluminum light, and the cutouts are silver, but I don't know if they're coated or uncoated. I can't tell. But what a gorgeous little light. Neat. All right, so jumping back into the names for a second, i3 means AAA, i5 means AA sized. Now, the letter after it means whether it's designed for alkaline batteries or whether it's designed for lithium-ion rechargeable batteries. So, for example, let's take a look at these two guys right here. I'll push these out of the way. We've got the i5T and the i5R. So the difference between these two is that the T is a AA alkaline light and the R is a rechargeable lithium-ion light. They're actually really similar in output, weight, size, everything. So it basically depends on which fuel you want to run. So the i5T comes with an alkaline battery, and I'll unscrew it here, and you can see there's a little alkaline battery right in it. And it'll take alkaline 1.5 volts. It'll take nickel metal hydride or NiCad 1.2 volts. That all works in here. And it is a two-mode light, about 15 lumens and about 300 lumens. This one, the i5R, comes with a lithium-ion rechargeable battery in the light. There it is. That gives you a USB-C port right there so that you can charge it right in the battery itself, and there's a little light that lights up on the end to tell you the status of the charging. And this light will take a alkaline battery, nickel metal hydride, as well as this. And if you look at the cell, it is not the typical 3.7 volt nominal lithium-ion battery you're used to. It's actually a 2.4. It's customized. I don't know if I'm exactly right on this, so don't get mad at me, But I think that this is a 3.7 nominal inside with a little charging circuit around the button that actually steps it down to 2.4 for the driver. But interestingly, it's a little bit more output. This is 350 lumens versus the 300 on this light. Another interesting thing about these lights is if you take the alkaline from here and stick it in here, it runs because this is dual fuel. When it's in here, and the alkaline will run at about 220 lumens on high, whereas the included rechargeable battery will do 350 lumens. But what's also weird is I can take the rechargeable battery from this one, stick it in this one, and it does work. Now, Olight doesn't ship it this way and doesn't tell you to do this, so this is completely unsupported. And I also want to tell you I didn't do any torture tests. I didn't run it for hours, but I turned it on for 20, 30 seconds and it worked. But here's what's weird. With an alkaline, this light right here is 300 lumens. With an alkaline, this one's 220. With a lithium ion, this one was 350. With the same lithium ion in here, this one was 300. So this one doesn't change output. It's always 300 on high, whereas this one changes output. So that kind of indicates to me that this light was designed for dual fuel, meaning the lower voltage alkaline or the higher voltage lithium ion, and it will act accordingly. Whereas this light may work with a rechargeable lithium ion from this light, but I don't think it was designed for it. So just keep that in mind. Between these two, I'm going to tell you straight up that I like the i5R. I just think it's a more versatile light. You get a little more output. It's going to run a long time. It's going to run a longer time with that lithium ion battery. It's a higher voltage with more milliamp hours, so that means more watt hours than the alkaline over here, so you're going to get more runtime. Let's also point out modes now. We talked a little bit about that. So the i5T and i5R are a 2-mode light. They are a tail switch clicky here. So you press and click and you get low, and then you release and press again and you get high. It's that simple. Really easy to use light. Super easy. It is also forward clicky, meaning that you can half press and half press again to get the next mode before you latch in and click. The i3E is a mono output twisty. So there's no tail switch over here, and you just twist this. Now they also make twisties that are dual output, and those are interesting because instead of being mode output and, turning on and off like some flashlights do, they're actually how much you twist them. So you twist and they turn on low, and then you twist further and they turn on high. I really like that. But this mono output keychain, and remember, free during the sale in 2 days here, it's just lightweight. It's one output, but it's super easy to use and great. Let's take a look at these outputs now that we've talked about them. So let me bring these to the side here. Bring the Lumen tube in. Now, let's start with the i3E. And you can see i3E is about 116 lumens as I measure it, and it's just steady. It's 116 lumens and one output. Now let's take a look at the i5T here. This is the alkaline. Oh, there it is. i5T. This is the alkaline version. Get a little focus on it. And I'm going to go to low first. You see I got about 15 lumens to 16. And then click it on high. And you see it ramps up to 300 lumens on the nose. And it'll hold that for a long time. These lights are boost drivers, and they're very efficient. Now let's go with the i5R. i5R right there. It's got the rechargeable battery in it. And you'll see here is a little less than 15 lumens. We'll call it 15. And then let's click it on high, and you can see that we're a little over 350 lumens. That's what they claim. You know what? Just for fun, I'm going to take the alkaline out of here and throw it in the i5R to show you its alkaline modes. So we're getting 14 lumens, same as before, and then on high, 220 lumens, as I said. Okay? So remember that it is dual fuel on the R, the rechargeable version, but it runs better, arguably, with the lithium ion that's included. So I guess the only reason really to get the T is if you just know that you're absolutely into nickel metal hydride rechargeables or alkalines. If that's what you're into, then you want to get the T version. Now let's push this aside for a moment and talk about a whole different aspect that is worth talking about. And that is, if you know that you want, let's say, an i5R, sometimes they come out with an i5R High CRI version. And that's what I got over here, this blue one. So let's talk about what High CRI is. Let me get a good focus on the edge here. And you can see that it says it's 5000 K CCT. That means it's a daylight color temperature. And you can see that the CRI says 90. So 90 means, CRI means color rendition index. So this means, and 100, the perfect 100 would be an incandescent bulb. So a high CRI of 90 means that this is going to do the best with colors. So usually high CRI lights come at the cost of output, but not in the case of the i5R. You'll see that both of these, let's go back to the Lumen tube, both of these run the same. So let's get the low CRI cool white in there first, and you got 360 on the low CRI one. And now let's take the high CRI blue one here, and you can see that's 300 lumens. So a little less, but I'm going to be honest with you, 350, 300, you're not going to notice it. One thing you would notice, though, is that this one right here was cool white, so it was about 6,000 K, which this one was 5,000 K. Now, some people like cooler or warmer, but I'm going to try and sell you on high CRI for a moment here. Let's see if we can do this. All right, I've got a color checker chart here, and I'll throw that on screen, get a good focus on it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lower the video lights way down. And then I'm going to illuminate the chart here. That is the low CRI purple one. So low CRI. And now I'm going to switch to the high CRI. So I'll turn that one off and this one on. And if you can't instantly see the difference, then let me describe the difference, okay? So let's go back to the low CRI for a second. Notice how the reds and especially the greens don't pop. That's because low CRI lights tend to have a low R9 value, which means they don't respond well to reds. The blues are all doing fine, but you're going to see this green and maybe this kind of pinky color, salmon color, is going to look way better under high CRI. Let's do it. Look how that green looks so saturated, and look how that salmon now pops. I'll try and switch again. There we go, low CRI, and one more time. There you go. So if that doesn't sell you, well then don't worry about it. You're just a low CRI, high output, cool white kind of person. I've come to realize that everybody has different tastes. I definitely value high CRI and a little bit warmer than the 6,000 color temperature. But you know, I know that I'm in the minority. I know that most people like cool white lights. In the sale is coming up this light and this light. I want to tell you about them. So these are going to be in the next 2 days here, and they're this vertical line version here. This one is going to be aluminum, and this one here is titanium and limited edition. So they're only making so many of these. These will definitely sell out. The limited edition stuff always does. Comes in a nicer box. A lot of the Olight fans really love the boxes and try and keep them really nicely. I actually sometimes throw them away. I'm just not a box collector, but I understand it. I get it. So you've got this beautiful lime iridescent kind of yellow green here, and it's made out of aluminum, so it's a really lightweight flashlight. And then here you have a titanium, let's get the name on here, i3T, okay? So, this is also, I just should point out, a really good difference about the tube diameter based on, actually this is all the differences now that my brain's kicking in here. i3T, you're talking about 3, so AAA, and T meaning alkaline. i5R meaning AA and meaning rechargeable. So these are all the differences right here. Now these are both going to be cool white, so you're going to have a very similar look. But I do want to point out that, let's see here. I don't know, they're almost similar weight because the titanium's heavier and the aluminum's lighter. The milling on the side here, there's no broken edges, so be aware of that. It's not sharp, but it's definitely grabby. It's grabby. So if you don't like grabby, the titanium would not be the one for you. The aluminum is less grabby. I wouldn't say it's not grabby because, again, there's no broken edges. But, neither of them hurt me. They just, this one's really grabby. Some people like grabby. Some people like that in their hand. All right, let's take a look at the beam shape really quickly. So I'll put the, on all these lights, so you got to unscrew them, take their little disc out, the insulating disc. Okay, so there you go. There's the beam shape. And here is the beam shape. You can see they're very similar. So, I mean, the larger TIR optic on the left here, this is called a TIR, total internal reflection. It is a little bit, let's see here. Let's get them really close in distance. God, they are almost exactly the same size. I would actually say, and this is going to be opposite of what I would think, I'm going to say this one's a little floodier. Typically, larger optics mean throwier and more condensed, more candela. But in this case, I find them very, very similar. And if I had to give the edge to one of them, which one's a little smaller, I would say that this one's a smaller, more concentrated beam. Now, if we look at them on the Lumen tube, you're going to see that the i5R is going to do much better than the i3T because of the alkaline, smaller battery in the i3T. So here we got the i3T. Let's pop it in there. And you can see that on high, we got 200 lumens. And here is the i5R. And on high, we got 360 lumens. They say 350. So again, we give output to the i5R for the better battery source and the larger battery. Now, lastly, saved what I think is the best for last, in my opinion. But I love these guys. These are some of my favorite lights that Olight makes. The i5T Plus. That plus right there is the really important part. Okay, look for that plus. Now, what is difference about the plus to the i5T? Well, it takes 2 batteries. That's it, okay? So if you take a look at the i5R here and the i5T here, you'll see that the difference is the same diameter, but this one's rechargeable and this one's 2 AA's. Now, you can put 2 nickel monohydride in there as well, but here's the beauty of this. And does this take rechargeable? No. Well, I mean, unless you do nickel monohydrides in there. But it doesn't take lithium ion is what I mean to say. So this one is going to be 1.5 volt batteries only. But here's the thing. 350 lumens here, 550 lumens here. So you get better output with nickel monohydrides or alkalines. So if you don't want to run lithium ions, you want to run off-the-shelf batteries, but you want that high output, the i5T Plus is the way to go. Plus means 2 batteries. I also want to point out, I just like the form factor. I just like the way it feels in my hand. You know, it's smaller in the pocket for sure, but these are still thin, and this still gets into jeans pocket without bottoming out, at least in male jeans. But just something feels really great about this in my hand. It feels like a pen. You know, I click it on. Feels really good. Now, we talked a little bit about CRI and CCT and all that. I want to point out that I got 2 versions here. I got the neutral white and I got the cool white. Now, that's just preference, okay? You get the one you want. You want it to be that bluish, cold, sharp, crisp, cool light. Get the cool white. You want something a little more kind of daylight, a little more neutral. You're going to get the 5000 CCT neutral white. Now, they always say 4000 and 5000 in their boxes, but that's something I don't really agree with Olight about. They're always 5000. I've never, on low, these things aren't 4000. They're still 5000. Now, the warm white is so rare, they hardly ever come out with warm white. If you see it, I'd snatch it up. This is a beautiful incandescent look, right around 27 to 3000 K. They say 27 to 3700, but I find them right around 3000. So again, I think when I measure these on my Sekonic, I get 6000, I get 5000, and I get 3000. That's what I get. All right, that pretty much wraps it up. I can't really think of anything more to go over. I just want to say that if there's one Achilles heel to these lights, it's that they don't have a moonlight, but they're super easy to use. They got a great low. 15 lumens is exactly what I'd want for walking around the house at night and not blasting myself. And then the 550 lumens found on the i5T Plus is great. That's phenomenal. That's a great high for a light like this. I do kind of wish there was a moonlight, but I can see also that as a work light, skipping the moonlight, it would be something you'd just be clicking through all day, especially during the day. But I do a lot of bathroom trips at night, and I don't want to wake my wife, so I do appreciate a 1 lumen mode. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you take advantage of the sale that's going on in 2 days. And please do not forget to register and pick up your free i3E light here. Look at that cool kind of shimmery pattern on the light. Very, very neat. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next video.